Just curious, coming off of your last fight, I know that you and Randy Brown both had kind of controversial decisions in your last fight. Just sort of curious, what did you think about Randy Brown's decision compared to your decision, and are you sort of, what have you learned from your last fight? Just how you feeling about this matchup in general?
That's a couple of questions in one.
Sorry, I know it was a run-on sentence. Yeah,
one at a time. So, what do you want me to?
Oh, first off, just how you feeling about Randy as an opponent, just going into the fight?
Well, he's definitely a talented guy. Like he's been, I think he went as high as ranked number 7 at some point. He's very unorthodox in the way that he's got a frame, like his size, his length is like he's kind of like the John Jones of welterweight in that regard. But yeah, he's got some obvious strengths, but I also feel like he has some obvious weaknesses.
What did you think about the decision in the Bryan Battle fight? Did you watch that fight?
Yeah.
But there was some controversy in the crowd in the arena. Just curious what you thought about it.
I mean, I might be biased when I'm looking at the fight. Of course, it's through my lens, but yeah, it was a close fight. But it was one of those where I could see going either way. It wasn't like a robbery at high day type of decision. So yeah, sometimes the crowd, they feel different. I guess oftentimes they are more excited about the guy who's striking, and Bryan Battle, he just took the clinch game to Brown, and that might not look as exciting, but yeah, it was a close fight.
And your last fight was also close. Do you feel like there would be like some closure in putting that behind you with a win over Randy?
Past is past, so it's gonna be good to get a win no matter what. What happened in my previous fight, is behind me. Of course, I looked at the fight and learned from it, but it's not like I have that in the back of my head. At least not in any other way that I'm just more motivated to get the win this Saturday.
Cool, thank you.
Here. Just kind of going back to the beginning there when you were talking about him being like the John Jones of the division. Mm-hmm. What kind of guys are you bringing into camp to deal with somebody like that with such a long reach, with such a long frame?
Well, we found a bunch of guys in Copenhagen that were able to emulate his style. We couldn't emulate the eye pokes. That's the John Jones part I'm talking about. Of course, it's difficult to. Maybe I should have gotten some safety goggles or something. But yeah, we got a bunch of guys similar size, similar build, who came in to help me in this camp.
And as far as the division goes, there seems to be like a lot of what ifs right now. You know what I mean? There's a fight coming up between Bilal and JDM. There's rumors of Islam coming up from 155 to 170. What do you think is going to happen there? Do you think Islam stays at 55, or is that a guy that 170 might have to worry about soon?
That's a good question. I have no clue. You have to ask him that question. If he comes up, for sure, it's going to be very exciting. Like I feel like he's got the frame to be competitive at 170, especially if you might pack on some muscle. But yeah, let's see what happens. It's exciting to have something happening in the division instead of having a stalemate like in some other weight divisions.
And then as far as the main event goes this weekend, I think both you and Randy Brown have more total fights in the UFC than Ian Gary and Carlos Prates combined. So what is that like to hear a stat like that?
That's just the way it is. Like, you can't always be... The main event isn't always decided from who has the most amount of fights or something like that. Everyone's career has, highs and lows. And, the placement on the fight card doesn't rarely ever like symbolizes how many fights you had. So that's it. I don't care about that. It's good that they're getting the exposure. I have less media to do. I have more time to chill. So that's fine by me.
And then I was just looking on your Instagram. It says mental health advocate. And I feel like nowadays in sports, especially combat sports, it's more relevant than ever that, you know, not only the media, but like the fighters themselves need to have their teammates and people sort of check on them and to see how they're doing. So what is your stance just on mental health and combat sports as it stands today?
Yeah, I think you got a point. It's maybe not a topic that comes up a lot in the gym. So I've had some mental struggles that I've been pretty open about, and it is like being a professional fighter is a truly, in lack of better words, a very atypical job. We don't have many people, many colleagues. At least I don't in Denmark, in Copenhagen. I don't have many people around me that does the same I do. So it's difficult to find people that can relate to your struggles, to how it is to have this life. I've been lucky to find other people in entertainment I can kind of lean against and talk to, because they might not be doing the exact same thing, but it's kind of like the same high performance, like you got to deliver job. But yeah, it's difficult to find people that, at least if you're fighting in UFC and you're based in Copenhagen, that you can talk to. But I also think it's important, because if you're just alone with all your emotions and all your experiences, it's gonna take a toll on you, and it's always nice to have someone to talk to, either at the gym or people outside. So I think it's very important that, that's why I chose to be more open about it, because I think it's an important aspect.
Yeah, I was going to expand on that a little bit, because we've seen guys like Jared Gordon in the past. He's open about his past addictions and reaching out and talking to people that might DM him or people that come up to him. So
yeah, he's an inspiration for me. Sorry.
Yeah, are you a guy that, you know, leaves his DMs open or reads comments, or is open to people reaching out to you as well if they've gone through struggles?
Yeah, I haven't like advertised it as Jared has. I think actually in part because I've still been on my mental struggle journey. I just overcame some pretty difficult times the last 10 months here. But now I feel maybe more in a space where I'll be able to do that. But yeah, for sure, when people that I get quite a lot of DMs from people that just, you know, really feel inspired apparently by when I'm sharing about my difficulties. So yeah, I get them. I just don't advertise it as Jared do, but it's always nice to hear that somebody like me using this kind of stage as a platform to talk about it is helpful for other people.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that, brother.
Of course. Thank you.
Just one more from me. Thanks for sharing that. I just wanted to get some clarity, because sorry if you've answered this question before.
Yeah,
but
fire away.
You were out. You had a fight against Zaleski scheduled for November, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. And you had to pull out. What was the reason for that?
I got an injury.
Yeah. Sorry, I just couldn't find any. Do you care to share what happened?
Well, I was in sparring. I got hit by a hard blow, and my body just for the first time wasn't able to support me. So that was talking into some of the difficulties I've had the last 10 months. It was the first time in my career I had to pull out of a fight.
Right.
So that was, I knew rationally that could always happen, but emotionally, especially as, you know, when something very, very big happens for you the very first time, especially when you're an adult, it kind of shakes your world.
Yeah.
And then I had like a full bingo plate of other stuff going on in my private life. So I'm happy. I'm very, very excited and happy to finally be here on fight week. because I overcame all those struggles. So it's even more sweet to be here today.